Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Being You Pod. We're back on YouTube today. We're just feeling it out. We're seeing how it goes. Right now I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying creating content on multiple platforms, really loving the content creation journey right now. I think because I know that for the rest of the year it is basically all I'm going to have left to do with a maternity leave very much in my future. So, welcome back to today's episode of the Being You Pod. We are talking a little bit about dietary intake for pregnancy, and actually, you're doing so much already to make it happen. So, this is an episode for anyone who wants the wellness information, doesn't want the waffle, and doesn't need all the like product placements and ads and stuff, because that's not what the Being You Pod is about. So, episode is for you if you want wellness without the waffle. This episode is also for you if you are trying to conceive, if you have conceived, and you're looking to get a head start on your prenatal nutrition. And this episode is for you if you are postpartum, because a lot of the nutrition principles that we're going to talk about today apply to that postpartum journey as well. So, we're going to talk a lot about food first philosophy. That is the philosophy that I live by and I preach by for my clients in clinic. So there are a few supplement recommendations, and this is actually all information that I myself gathered from my nutrition class with the health and safety executive in Ireland. I get a certain amount or a certain structure of antenatal or prenatal classes allotted to me as a pregnant person, and nutrition in pregnancy was one of them. So this is a class that if you're in Ireland, and again, if you're trying to conceive or you've recently conceived and you're like, oh my gosh, when do I sign up for my nutrition class? In Ireland, they recommend that you sign up after you've had your first like official scan that puts you on the system. They recommend that you sign up anywhere up to 20 weeks before, anywhere up to 20 weeks in gestation period. So I took this class right at the 20-week mark because I think when I got the information about it, we were about to travel to Australia. So we're going to dive in. First of all, there's so much basic stuff in this class that I feel like is just a nice reminder for life in general. Like a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about, it's just life in general, life support in general, life support for your new life within you, but also if you are, say you're male and you're wanting to work on your health for the conception process, some of this stuff can apply to you too. Number one basic thing: more complex carbs, less saturated fats. You should be having a serving of complex carbohydrates at each of your meals. This is for obvious reasons. Complex carbs are more likely to have better quality ingredients in them than simple carbohydrates. Of course, there are simple carbs such as bananas, berries, citrus that are really nutrient dense, or sports drinks, Lucozade, Powerade, Gatorade. Those are things that I've recommended to clients when I'm trying to get them to replenish their sugars quite quickly after a workout. So those simple carbs are really beneficial, but with nutrition in pregnancy, they're encouraging you to have complex carbohydrates because the breakdown of that carbohydrate source, turning that carbohydrate product into glucose that can be absorbed into the bloodstream and then used for energy, that happens a little bit slower. And you need things to stay in your body a bit longer because your nutrition has to get to yourself, but first it actually goes to your fetus. So the complex carbs are really helpful. The other thing about complex carbs is that they're going to be fiberful. Things like your whole grain breads and pastas, your brown rice, your wild rice, your potatoes. And that's any variety of potatoes, by the way, sweet, Yukon, Mars Piper, whatever. Those complex carbs have fiber in them, which is really helpful for gut health. We know from all the research that has been afforded to us, especially in the last 3 to 5 years, that your gut flora supports an amazing, happy, uplifted, productive, capable mindset and mood and mental outlook. So that's why complex carbs are really important during pregnancy as well. They're setting you up for success for conceiving and having the energy demands that it takes to create a child and brew it and excrete it, but also helping you keep an uplifted mood, which actually plays into your postpartum support, with postpartum anxiety and depression very much being brought to light. And, from a professional standpoint, we're just learning that this is actually way more prominent than we'd ever thought it was. And so they're looking to support women specifically with their postpartum journeys too. Complex carbohydrates, 1 serving per main meal. Really helpful. Another basic thing that was spoken about in this nutrition for pregnancy class was tinned fish for healthy fats or an omega supplement. Vegetarian sources of fats include ground flaxseed, chia seeds, rapeseed oil, nuts and seeds in general. But the healthy fats and the omegas are really beneficial for you as a parent because you need the brain power. Like, baby brain is so real. I cannot begin to tell you how real baby brain is. But also, too, omega fatty acids, they are really great for sperm quality. So again, if you're a male or if you're, female and planning to carry a pregnancy, but you understand it's not an asexual act, if you are at liberty to modulate your partner's sperm quality, I would suggest investing in good tinned fish, tinned salmon, like normal salmon that you can cook. Hot smoked salmon is all safe during pregnancy. But also, if your male counterpart is maybe not an oily fish consumer, like my husband, then encouraging him to take an omega supplement can actually improve sperm quality and potentially, you never know, could make your conception process a little bit easier. Because I think too, what I'm starting to see with more and more clients coming to me with the goal of becoming pregnant is that the male is really not doing a lot. The male is maybe increasing its water intake and sleeping a bit more than usual. But in terms of nutrition, men really don't understand. Anyway, healthy fats, omega fatty acids, they're great for you. They're great for the baby and the baby's brain development and the baby's fat stores as you progress in your pregnancy. It's also great for men in conception because it's enhancing your sperm quality. Another nutrient that was talked about in nutrition for pregnancy class was iron. It's really important for carrying oxygen around your body, but also for carrying oxygen to the baby. Adequate iron helps maintain a healthier birth weight. Red meat, eggs, spinach, fortified cereals, that helps with vitamin D too, are all iron sources. An interesting thing about iron is that you need vitamin C to absorb it. So you can have citrus, you could have kiwis, you could have strawberries, you could have green apples. There's a lot of vitamin C containing foods in the food rainbow that you can utilize to help with the absorption of iron. Iron was actually something that was recently recommended to me to start supplementing. I am nearing the end of my second trimester, heading into my third personally. And at my last appointment, my midwife suggested that I start taking an iron supplement, and she gave me a specific brand to take because it's what the hematologists were recommending in the hospital. I was a bit hesitant, I'm not gonna lie, because I have clients who have taken this brand of iron specifically and have had really bad experiences with it, from constipation to teeth yellowing to just all sorts of stuff. And it's not something that I want to take on during pregnancy because I feel like my body is changing enough. So I reached out to the greater nutrition network around me and I asked for some suggestions. And I was actually able to find a supplement that contained enough of ferrous fumarate, that's the specific iron supplement type that the hematologists recommend. I was able to find a supplement with ferrous fumarate that does not, that just isn't this brand that causes like all the constipation and yellowing of the teeth and stuff. So, and you're always supposed to start slow with iron supplementation. If I'm not a big red meat eater myself, a really, really, really amazing way to get your iron sourced in pregnancy is to consume cooked liver. Yes, organ meat is so potent in iron as well as B12. But if you're like me and organ meat just feels like a massive mountain that you're not willing to climb, you can get desiccated liver capsules, or you can speak with your OB or your midwife about an appropriate iron supplement for you if needed. The only reason this was needed is because my blood work showed that my iron levels had dipped a little bit from, say, 3 months ago. So that's why I was encouraged to supplement with iron. Interestingly enough, don't have coffee or tea within 1 hour of eating iron sources to promote absorption. This was a fun fact that I did not remember learning about when I was in school. So when I heard this, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Tannins reduce absorption. And tannins are found in, like when we say tannins, we obviously think of red wine. But tannins are found in coffees and teas. And that's just like, that's caffeinated and decaf products. So try your best not to have coffee or tea, like coffee, I mean, black coffee, black teas, green teas, coffees, and things like that. They include tannins in them, whether caffeinated or decaf. So that was like a big thing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. That was really cool to hear. So iron, omega fatty acids, complex carbohydrates for fiber. When you're pregnant in general, just one more little thing on the iron thing. When you're pregnant, checking your ferritin levels is ideal to monitor the iron situation. If you think, oh my gosh, I need to supplement with iron, don't think that on your own accord. Get blood work done and see where your ferritin levels are. That's going to empower you to make a much better informed decision for both yourself and your baby. Another thing that's important during pregnancy is 3 to 5 servings of calcium every day. I've recently really amped up the amount of milk I put in my morning coffee, and I'm having 1 serving, if not 2 servings, of yogurt and or cheese per day during this pregnancy to get all my calcium in. Yogurt, milk, cheese, vitamin D also helps with calcium absorption. So vitamin D helps with the iron absorption and the calcium absorption. Um, really important to have enough calcium. It's for your bone health. It's for your baby's bone health. It's for all the teeth that need to form. It's for so much stuff. So you need calcium. You also need iodine. You actually need double the amount that general requirements suggest whilst in pregnancy. Best sources of iodine are white fish. You can have 1 portion per week and a portion of dairy per day, and you actually get enough iodine in your daily intake to meet your needs. Eggs are great for iodine. The one thing that this class made a point to note was that kelp or seaweed supplements are not recommended for iodine support because they could be contaminated with heavy metals. Like And this is another, like, this is a really hard thing about pregnancy. When you're going down the road of supplementation for pregnancy, there's a lot more to consider because, yes, while the actual like label of the supplement might look appealing and might look like it's going to help you, you got to really dive into the product's manufacturing processes and ingredient sourcing, because the sourcing and production could negate the benefits that you're trying to seek. Um, so, kelp and seaweed supplements, that was a big no, for sure, big no. Something else, another very important nutrient for conception, for pregnancy, and postpartum is water. Good old fashioned H2O. You need at least 2.2 liters per day when you are looking to conceive a child and when you are also pregnant and brewing that child. It can be flavored with fresh fruit or mint. You like the best way to monitor if you're getting enough fluids is, of course, to pee and then look in the toilet and see what color yellow your urine is. If it's light in color, if it's very transparent, you're doing great. If it is really dark, if it's really cloudy, you need to increase your water intake. And that was something for me that I need to increase, which is why I've started drinking herbal tea in the afternoons. I have a cup next to me and it is absolutely boiling hot. If I was to take a sip of it right now, I would burn my tongue, and that would not lead to nice sound effects for any of us. So water intake is really helpful. For men, it helps your sperm production, it helps ejaculation. I know, TMI, but still. For women, once we have conceived, water is going to hydrate your child, but also it's going to make up the amniotic fluid. And you need enough fluid in that amniotic sac for your baby to thrive in its growing environment. Your diet influences your child's development as well as future health. That was something that was said in the class, and I just thought, wow, like that's so true. My Not to toot my own horn, but really to toot my mom's own horn. My mom ate so much stuff when she was pregnant with me. She really tried to get as much variety in her diet as possible, and that diet included salads and McDonald's French fries. Genuinely, she said that was like the two things that she craved the most when she was pregnant with me: vegetables and McDonald's French fries. And I have to admit, during my first trimester, a lot of my meals were salads and McDonald's French fries too. So there's that. But in terms of future health, I'm really lucky. As a child and as an adult, I don't have any allergies or major intolerances to keep track of. I, knock on wood, have only broken a bone once in my life, and it was a sesamoid fracture in my big toe. When I get sick, I don't get deathly ill. I can power through and I can recover, and I am so blessed to have such an active lifestyle. And I really do attribute a lot of that, all that good stuff going for me, I attribute to what my mom did in her pregnancy. She just ate as normal. She didn't stay away from anything, within reason. She didn't only eat healthfully and only eat healthy foods, because that wouldn't have led to anything great either. And I also, from a very young age, and myself and my siblings were like this as well, from a very young age, we ate everything. Like, we at least tried everything. If we didn't like it, we would say so. But I, 9 times out of 10, tried something and liked it. My brother was a different story, but that's a different thing for another day. Whereas my husband has he has allergies. He has foods that he's really not great at eating as an adult, and he also had foods that he wasn't great eating as a child, and those foods have changed throughout his life. And I do think that just seeing what his parents are like traditional Irish. They have a scone for breakfast every morning. Lunch might be a slice of white bread and butter, or white bread and banana, and then dinner is an absolute mountain of meat, potato, and carrot. Like, let's be honest, that is the traditional Irish mom and dad diet, and his parents are the, the shining example of it. I do think that a bit more variety could have potentially influenced his outcomes now. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. There's obviously nothing wrong with him because I'm pregnant. But I am just super aware that I want to have the most varied diet as possible for my child right now, as well as my child growing up and evolving into a grown adult. And that does include foods that are nutrient dense, my complex carbs, my fatty acids, my iron sources, my iodine, but also includes foods that feel really good to eat. Flavored yogurt, ice cream, thin mints. I don't even know what else, but I'm just trying to eat everything I can within reason, because I think that's really important too. It's like a very selfless thing to do. I think it's very selfish to, I can't even find the words for it. I just think it's so selfish to limit yourself because you're worried about what you're going to look like after, like, what you're worried about what you're going to look like postpartum, or you have underlying disordered eating habits that you don't want to let go of because you want to control your pregnancy. I think it's a very selfish mindset to have. I don't think mothers don't do that intentionally. We definitely don't. I don't think we realize how much our choices really influence our child now, but also in their own future. So, anyway, moving on from that, we're going to bring it into some food safety concepts that are important to highlight for pregnancy, conception, pregnancy, and postpartum. Avoid foods that can make you sick due to bacteria and toxins, obviously. Obviously. Do not eat stuff that you could get listeria from. Now is probably not the time for me to have beef tartare in Paris. It sounds great with a glass of chilled white wine on the sidewalk outside of a French bistro. That actually sounds so magical right now. But now is not the time for me to do that. I can wait until postpartum. Avoid unpasteurized foods. This is more specific to Ireland and the UK and the EU than it is to America. Um, Moldy cheeses on our side of the Atlantic are unpasteurized. Actually, Breeze and Blues in the States are pasteurized still, just because the food has such a long traffic path. You know, it's exported across states, across coasts. So it's a little bit different in the US. Definitely just, I mean, again, just do your own research, make your own informed decision, look at what, a particular food. If you want to try and eat it and you're not sure, just look, research, figure out how it's produced, figure out where it's produced before you make that decision for yourself. No homemade mayonnaise. Ew. Cook eggs fully. Avoid cold cured meats unless they're cooked, like on pizza, for example. Pepperoni pizza, totally fine. Pepperoni by itself, maybe not. Avoid soft serve ice cream. This is because the machine that the ice cream is churned in may not be thoroughly cleaned. And I actually thought, my sister has worked in an ice cream shop for like years. And I'm always thinking of her, and she'd always, every Sunday morning, she's going into the truck at like stupid o'clock to clean the machines. And I'm just sitting there being like, nobody else is like my sister. Nobody else is cleaning those machines as thoroughly as she is. So, no soft serve ice cream for me personally. And that's not like an, oh no, it's a dairy thing. It's a machine thing. I don't trust the people cleaning the machines, to be honest. Avoid raw fish, cured fish. This was an interesting one that I learned during the HSC nutrition class, and that is Tuna, no more than 2 cans per week or one cooked steak per week. And that is because of the mercury concentration in tuna. Wash all your fruit and veg, whether they're on the Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15 lists provided by the World Health Organization. I definitely haven't been doing that, and knock on wood, I feel fine. And my child is fine. Caffeine, you're encouraged not to have more than 200 milligrams per day. And that includes things like Coca-Cola, energy drinks, coffee, tea, and chocolate as well. So that's all stuff that I learned in the Nutrition for Pregnancy class. And I hope that that information is useful to you, whether you, like I said, whether you're starting out, starting to think about starting your family, or your family is started like myself, and you're navigating the journey of growing your family and wanting to support your family members by setting them up for the best quality of life possible through your nutrition choices. That's what you can do. And if you want more support with it, I'm happy to chat with you and help you find a nutrition practitioner that is going to meet your needs and support you best. I don't specialize in fertility support. This is purely like takeaways, key takeaways that I got from this nutrition and pregnancy class that was provided through the government health executive. So I'm not gonna claim business and say come to me for your fertility support if you're looking to conceive, but I am going to say that you can come to me and I can point you in the right direction to make sure that you get the best, most honest support that you need in this journey, because it's a really fragile journey to be on. And it's a really fragile journey that I personally am grateful to be on, and I'm grateful to share little tidbits about it here and there. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you are listening on Spotify or Substack, make sure that you leave a comment on the episode. I will leave a summary of fun things in the show notes, and let me know what you want to hear next by emailing info@beufitnessandnutrition.com. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, and leave a comment on the video. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to hear more of, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.